In the Christian church, we just celebrated the first Sunday of Advent. And as Pastor Scott shared with us last week, the candle we lit last week represents hope. This week's candle represents peace. So my title is Peace. Are you kidding? While there are children being denied food from government assistance programs and federal workers still waiting for their back pay from the government shutdown, people with gender identities other than heterosexual being denied medicines and safety, and immigrants being rounded up on street corners and home improvement parking lots, including Hawaii. How is peace anything but a joke? One of the surprising truths is that when Jesus was born, the same culture of repression, retribution, and cruelty was the political order of the day. But unlike the Hebrew prophets before him, Jesus' message was not that God was going to punish you if you don't worship him alone. Jesus tells us in John 16, verse 33, I have told you these things so that you might have peace. In this world, you will have trouble. But take heart. I have overcome the world. He does not ascribe the trouble being caused by anything. He is only promising that God will be with us in these times of trouble. In the 2024 presidential campaign season, I started a Substack post called Inspiration for Meaningful Living. And my goal was to share what I had learned throughout my professional career about finding peaceful moments during the chaos of that campaign. I was naive because I never considered that the current president would be elected again. When the votes were counted and the results were known, I simply lost my voice. I was unable to imagine anything that would help us survive the next 4 years of destruction of our form of governance. I would say to myself, what the heck do I know about resilience? I can hardly get out of bed and face each day. But now I'm just starting to find my voice again. So I said, yes, I would like to share this post. Some of the ideas that are keeping me going and have helped me find moments of peace are these. 1, when I look at the bigger picture of history and I hold that against what's currently happening, history tells me that empires always fall or fail at some time. 2, Jesus said to expect these kinds of troubling things to happen. He lived through these kind of events himself. 3, he knew there was another vision of life. At first, I think he only glimpsed it, but later he fully embraced it. And he called this vision the kingdom of God. He was describing the space between the events of our day-to-day lives where moments of grace can be found. The doorways to this space are things like awe, wonder, and beauty. 4, activism must be focused on both what we are standing against and what we love and want more of. When we use anger to fuel our activism, it is a hot, fast-burning fuel. I know from the 60s, but burnout frequently follows. A slogan that focuses only what we don't want, like no dictators, is only half the equation. The slogan, no dictators, more democracy, helps keep us pointed toward where we want to be. When love ignites our action toward what we're longing for, it's a much more stable fuel source. It burns slowly and for a long time, and it actually replenishes itself. Martin Luther King Jr. gave us a masterful example in his I Have a Dream speech. He talked about all that was unjust and wrong with racism in our country. But he ended by saying that he dreamed of a time when little black boys and girls would join hands with little white boys and girls in a future where they would be judged by their character and not their skin color. He told us what we were moving away from, but also what we wanted to move toward. 5. Jesus tells us there is a different way of seeing and being in the world where we can name what's wrong and at the same time use love, wonder, and awe and beauty to remember what it is that we're wanting more of and willing to take action for. In the recent stormy skies over Hawaii last week, I went outside one morning and the dark clouds were broiling and boiling. But in the midst of all that dark motion happening, I noticed that across the valley, there was one bright, small, single beam of light focusing itself on the hill across from me. And the thought spontaneously came to me: justice is being done somewhere. I paused to appreciate that. And then I asked how love could guide me to stand up for more of that, even in my neighborhood. My friends, I pray that the windows and doors of grace that are cracked open will attract your attention this week, and that with the slightest effort or noticing on your part, that you might fall into these little openings and say, this is a moment of peace that restores me and strengthens me to go back into the world and share what I love and what I'm longing for there to be more of. Blessings of Advent and moments of peace to you, my friends.